Good afternoon. Welcome to the PromoMinds podcast. I'm your host, Steve Leslie. Today, we're going to be talking about clarifying your message and what you need on your website in order to be crystal clear to your customers. More from the PromoMinds podcast coming up shortly. PromoMinds. Promote your brand, transform your business. So this is something that came to me recently, and I'm sure you're well aware. If you go on the internet and you Google marketing, you're going to get millions of different avenues to go down. And so at the core level, I wanted to think, okay, what is it that people need to think of when it comes to creating something like a website or sales material, that sort of thing. And this came to me recently as I was helping a client with their website. What is it that they know? You take away all the fluff, right? What do people need to know about you? And so there was 3 questions that came to mind that if those 3 questions get answered, then, the rest you can fill in later. But if it just came down to you only had time to answer 3 questions on your website to create something, just a landing page for people to go to, these are the 3 things that you need. The first thing that I need to know is, what do you do? What is it that you do? You can tell me the title, but elaborate more. Create a video, or at the very least, create a paragraph that details what it is that you do. Okay, that's the first one. Because I've had it where people have told me what they do, or they come up with these fancy job titles or business titles, whatever. And I'm sitting there wondering, okay, well, what is this? What do you do? And a confused buyer doesn't buy. So you want to be crystal clear on being able to answer that question, and not in a 45-page document. Like, think of it like an elevator pitch, so to speak. You want to have it narrowed down to an explanation in just a couple sentences, what it is you do. Like, what's the Coles Notes summary that you could spew out following your job title or your business name, to give people that understanding of what it is you do. The second thing that you want to understand is, who do you serve? All right, if you're, say, a plumber or a contractor, well, you want people that are located within your area, maybe a 20-mile radius. On top of that, you don't want people coming to your website that are, they live across the country from you. But it's great to attract people there, but you want them to understand, like, if you're in Ontario and you have someone from Alberta coming on your website to hire you, it's not going to go well, because you're, unless you want to take a flight out there, I don't know. If you're looking for a great book to read when it comes to entrepreneurialism, one of the best books that I've ever read on it is called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. This book is so great that when it first came out, I read it twice in the span of about 2 to 3 weeks, because I just couldn't put this book down. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. All right, let's get back to the show. So who is it that you serve? Now, jotting this stuff down will be very beneficial, because it'll give you a much better understanding. It'll give you a much better understanding on how to communicate to those people. And if you, again, I'll use the plumber instance. If you're a plumber, then chances are you want to attract people who are either doing bathroom renovations, maybe they have a clogged toilet or a clogged sink, or maybe they just need a I don't know, maybe they have a cracked pipe, right? Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're talking about that sort of stuff, the situations that I just mentioned, rather than talking about, I don't know, if you're talking about renovations, you're not going to be talking about roughing in electrical or talking about the framework unless it relates to what people should be on the lookout for with their plumbing. And so we got the two of three questions answered. We have, what do you do and who do you serve? The third thing is, why should I care? Why should the prospect or customer care about your business, and why would they want to do business with you, right? And with that, you're able to go into more detail on like, well, why would you want to coach? Why would you want I don't know, why do you need a dentist? Why should people go to the dentist, but why do they avoid it, right? There's a bunch of things that you could fill out here to basically give people a better understanding on what it is you do, why you do it, and why they should care. So it's not, I should explain this in a little more detail here. People aren't going to care about, oh, well, I started this business because it's my passion and whatnot. Yeah, okay, great. That's awesome. But why do I care, right? It's not, dentistry is not my passion. Plumbing is not my passion. But I understand that there are times where you need these services. So why should I contact you, right? And so you're able to give a little more detail, kind of stand out as an authority figure, provide some expertise. If it was me and I was creating this, what I would do is I would jot down a few points to elicit value in that way. But I would also want to have some sort of takeaway or reading material or something to help educate people in their search. Because people, like I said, plumbers, dentists, they're likely looking you up because they're ready to buy or they're considering buying. And they might just be going through names to figure out who they feel most comfortable with, who they can trust more. And something that you can do in order to help them, because if you understand this, that this is what's going on in their mind, something you could do is to provide some tools, some tips, some tricks, some tools that they can utilize whether or not they deal with you. Because if you can give them some questions that they should ask a contractor as they're doing their search, they're going to feel more connected with you because you just subliminally said that you understand them. Hey guys, if you're into hiking at all, I highly recommend subscribing to my YouTube page, Steve Leslie Hikes. That's Steve Leslie Hikes on YouTube. I have a lot of content on there from some of the crazy hikes that I've been on, including Angel's Landing in Zion National Park. And it'd be really cool to connect on there. So please check me out. Thanks. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're looking, people are doing a lot more research now, and if you can help them by providing these questions to ask, especially now with like AI and whatnot, like for those who haven't used the Chat GPT, it's basically Google on steroids from my experience. Like you know how people would always say, oh, Google the answer, look it up, right? And then you would go onto Google and you'd type in a question, and then you'd have 10 million responses that you could go through. You're only going to look at the first couple. and then get frustrated if your exact response is not there. Well, ChatGPT, you're able to go on there, ask your question, and it'll give you pretty much exactly what you're looking for. So it's a really cool feature for like jumping over the Googles, going right to ChatGPT and like asking it questions for like specific responses. So it's really cool that way. You can also use that as like a rough copy to come up with some of your copywriting. Now, from my experience and from listening to other copywriters who are like, really good at what they do, it's really good to use as like a rough draft. Like, instead of staring at the blank page and saying, I have no idea where to go with this, you could type in some prompts and say, I'm trying to come up with, well, let's take this. I'm trying to come up with a 2 to 3 sentence explanation on what it is I do. This is my profession. This is my niche, I guess, or my niche market. These are the people that I help. This is what I like to focus on. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're into dentistry and you're like, I only like to do root canals or something like that, you can enter that prompt, and the Chat GPT will spit out it'll give you like a 2 to 3 sentence idea, right? Which you could use, but it's best to look at that. You could ask it for like 3 different examples or more. And if you don't like it, you can like totally scrap it and have it come up with something else. So it's really cool for brainstorming. But then you can take that and you can apply it in more of your own words. Like you can change up some things to make it more humanized, right? And that's the thing that if you listen to people talking about like using AI to come up with their copy and whatnot, you'll find that the majority of people who are actual experts and know what they're talking about, you'll be able to utilize it as like a rough draft or to like evoke brainstorming and ideas, but you should go through it and add that human element to it, because that's something that the computers and machines really can't do. And when you hold up your AI generated copy to an actual copywriter, you'll see like a lot of difference. So, but like I said, really cool tool to use if you really have no idea what to say or where to go with it. You can spit something out, look at it, and refine it to put on a website or to utilize in your copy. You can create articles, but again, it's great for a rough draft. So I wouldn't use that as like a final copy. Rough draft, if you want, really works really good. So we got what do you do, who do you serve, and why should they care, right? And so you answer those 3 questions. That's going to eliminate probably 95% of your headaches on trying to figure out what it is that you should put on your website. And on top of that, if you really want a fantastic website, then by all means, you can reach out to a lot of freelancers. So many people know how to do web design. They might ask you for some prompts or whatnot, but if you have the answers to these 3 questions, it'll definitely help in that entire process to give people a better idea of what your business is all about, right? Now, once those 3 questions are answered, then you can formulate some more tools, tips, and tricks that people will appreciate, which will also help stand out when people are searching, Googling, different contractors or different specialists in your industry, that sort of thing. It'll help you stand out because you'll start standing out in those searches. They might have questions as it relates to certain troubleshooting or certain problems that may arise. And if you can help them do it by themselves, then that's going to build even more trust because they're going to say, oh, you really genuinely just want to help me, right? There'll be a lot of other people too that are like, I don't even want to think about this. I'm calling you because you're the expert. Come and fix it for me, right? That sort of thing. So again, if you can craft up the answers to those 3 questions, it's going to eliminate most of your headaches, and you won't have to worry about the overwhelm that comes as it relates to marketing your business. So I hope that helps. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of PromoMinds podcast. I'm Steve Leslie, and if you want help crafting your message or sharing your story, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help. Love coming up with ideas, and we can have a nice chat. So reach out to PromoMinds@gmail.com and I'll respond. Take care.